Hey, welcome everybody to Skynyrd Shorts again here on YouTube, our favorite YouTube channel. It'll be fun tonight, right?
I think so.
Notice we both have our glasses on. Do you know why we have our glasses on?
We got a little reading to do.
We're old.
We gotta read.
So, tonight's episode number 37. What's your 37 number?
I don't have one.
Well, 37 is a prime number. That's all I really can tell you.
Good for you.
Yeah, I like 37. Wasn't there somewhere? There's something about 37. Isn't that? It doesn't matter. Okay, 37. And the name of tonight's episode is Pronounced, Song by Song, where we're going to kind of pull out really the album that started it all, and talk about everything in it. All right. So inside, you can see there's all kinds of cool stuff. When I was a kid, I thought the fact Lynyrd Skynyrd smokes was the coolest thing ever. Thought that's very cool. Of course, you know, there's in here and things going on. He mentions, you know, getting high, which again, I thought was very cool. I tell you what's cool about this record, Joe. This record is on the
Sounds of the South
Sounds of the South label. So it's the original.
Al Cooper's label.
Yeah, from the shirt, right? So anyway, Lynyrd Skynyrd smokes. Let's check out the credits first. Anything on the credits that get your attention that you think's really cool?
There's just so many people in here that were young that, you know, were getting into business. Rodney Mills is mentioned on here. Jeff Carlisi, you know, was part of this. Still a good friend of Ronnie Van Zant.
You know, Robert Nix played drums on Tuesday's Gone, which I thought was cool. We also see the name Roosevelt Gook. And Roosevelt Gook did a lot of stuff. Bass, Mellotron, Harmony on Tuesday's Gone, several songs. Played bass on, anyway. Who's Roosevelt Gook?
That's our producer friend.
That's Al Cooper, buddy. That's Al Cooper, is Roosevelt Gook. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Seeing all this kind of stuff. It does mention with Ed King, lead guitar on Mississippi Kid, and bass on all tracks except Mississippi Kid and Tuesday's Gone. And then for Leon, it says bass for the group up until the album was out. Rejoined shortly thereafter from the Ice Cream Factory. Composed many of the bass parts played on the album by Ed. Ed now plays guitar with the group. Because, as Ronnie said, Ed was a terrible bass player.
He sucked.
Yeah, that's what Ronnie and Ed both said, so it's cool.
I'm not a bass player.
But the record opens up with I Ain't the One, which all I can tell you is I feel like I Ain't the One is the most copied song in the history of rock and roll.
Really?
Think about all the songs. Just think about it. Think about Billie Jean.
Oh, that's true.
Right? Michael Jackson copied I Ain't the One. And I'm not going to go into the whole list, but there's a ton of songs that spring from this. And, you know, Michael Jackson never gave Ronnie Van Zant credit for I Ain't the One. But it's hard not to think, when you hear that song, you think, wow, here's another band who put their best song to start the record. Because it's a great song.
The guitar work, the intro on this song is so amazing. It's just so, I mean, I listened to it every night as a kid. And I just loved it. I just couldn't get enough of that guitar.
And the way that Ronnie kind of slurs the words out. I mean, maybe he was drinking when it was just like, I may be crazy, baby. I ain't no fool. Your daddy's rich, mama. You're overdue. I mean, come on. Who does that and gets away with it? I mean, just absolutely fantastic. And just right away you go out, it's going to go downhill from there, right?
What?
But because their best song is like the first song on the record.
Number one.
There's no sense in listening to anything else because it can go down.
Let's listen to number two.
But for the hell of it, you listen to number two, which is an Alan Collins, Ronnie Van Zant masterpiece. And it's not even played that much anymore. And I don't know why, but Tuesday's Gone, and I feel like this is Ronnie's country roots. I mean, it's a train song, right? It's a Jimmy Rogers thing. It's a Jerry Jeff kind of thing. It is, I mean, now, it'd be a Ray Wally Hubbard thing. I mean, I don't know, something about Two's Gone. Now, the difference in that is that whereas Old Country wouldn't have had that big organ in there, that big Billy Powell, because this is where I really first heard Billy Powell, the second song on the record. And wow, it's like a curtain of just beautifulness, right? Is that a word, beautifulness?
It is now.
It is now. It's amazing how it hits you. And you get a feeling all through the thing about what the song is about, right? And, it's probably more about going on the road, leaving your woman behind or whatever, but he converts it into something that's just so, riding my blues away, right? I mean,
and that's what Train songs are kind of about. A lot of blues and Trains went together, and a lot of this, they learned from blues.
Yeah, I mean,
Shorty Madlock, things like that.
You think probably Shorty has some influence.
They had to
with the lyric to that song. So, beautiful song. I mean, just beautiful. And so you go, okay, they're 2 for 2. I'm not going to listen anymore because there's no way it could get better, right? So now I'm going to hear all their cruddy songs, the really bad stuff, the filler stuff. But I decide I'm going to listen to the third song anyway. It's Give Me 3 Steps. Give Me 3 Steps. Alan Collins, Ronnie Van Zant. Why do I call them all masterpieces, Joe?
And these are ultimate storyteller songs, and this is what Ronnie was all best at. This really happened. He took something that really happened and made a song of it.
I mean,
no matter how scared he was, or Alan was, or Gary was, this was real.
I kind of like the live version better from the One More from the Road record, but it is an absolute masterpiece at storytelling. So I always say the great thing about Ronnie Van Zant is all his songs are true stories, but I ain't the one. I don't know the backstory to that, but I bet you there is one.
And it could have been any of his band members.
I bet you there is one. I like to know. But Give Me 3 Steps is kind of quintessential with this band, right? I mean, it is a song that just the first few notes of it, just the first kind of that raunchy kind of guitar sound that they produce. I mean, actually, which is Illinois Speed Press. Right? We've mentioned them before, but you hear it in there. You hear Illinois Speed Press. Anyway, it's a masterpiece, right? And so again, I'm thinking, all right, I've heard these first 3 songs. I'm just going to pull the needle off this record, and I'm just going to be done with it. Because now all the filler, all the crap's got to start, right? But no, I can't do that. I have to listen to one more song. So I'm still on side 1, and I pull up Simple Man. And all through the song, I take it personal. There's something about it. It's almost like when the preacher preaches, I always thought he was screaming at me. But Simple Man was just, and I'm sure there's some truth in that, Ronnie's, from his upbringing, probably from Marion, right? I mean, this sounds like something a mother could say. And it's just the word spine tingling, I think. Don't you think? I mean, it's probably the finest and simplest song Gary Rosen ever wrote. I mean, it's just amazing how that comes together. And I've heard some other rumors about, somebody else's, Alan's mother, somebody else had the Simple Man idea. But the song itself is I don't know. There's a whole barrage of songs throughout Ronnie's career where he has this kind of theme going, right? And this is the first one, and it is a beautiful song.
We know Gary's mother really meant a lot to him, and there's a lot in Gary's stuff directed from his mother.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, has there ever been a debut record where side 1 was 4 for 4?
We've hit the nail on the head,
Has
boys.
there ever been a debut record where a band went 4 for 4 on side 1? I mean, think about it. I don't care. Call anybody you want. The Beatles, the Stones, the Who, the Allman Brothers, Hendrix. Well, Hendrix, maybe. But you can't. You can't. Now, there is a ZZ Top record or two that's very close, but I'm telling you, 4 for 4. And this is not a regular 4. This is a big four. Right? These are four songs that are played forever, always, all the time.
Still big.
Unbelievable.
To this day.
So at this point, you've heard their four best songs. Why even listen to side two? Let's just wear out side one. Let's wear the grooves out. And if you look at the grooves on the record, they're pretty worn out. But no reason to listen to side two, is there, Joe? Because we'd have to take it off the turntable, flip it over, and put it back down and put the needle on it.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Side one was pretty damn good.
No, it was perfect.
Why wouldn't we listen to side two?
No.
We're pretty interested right now. We're hooked.
We're hooked. When me and Brooks were in college, we had this thing called album trilogy in our room, where one night he would play 3 records, when they flip down, and the next night I'd play 3 albums. And you can only play one side. But he always played Born to Run, side 1. I always played Lynyrd Skynyrd, pronounced side 1. I mean, we wore them out. But anyway, side 2, let's just say, for instance, that we would have decided or accidentally put side 2 on. And we actually did. And the first thing you hear is Things Going On. Again, it's that laid back Ronnie vocal, right? I mean, things going on, you don't know. I mean, just something about the way his vocal style makes a song into something that's just spectacular. Of course, you got the piano on there. It's probably my first real Billy Powell piano piece, right? And Things Going On. Plus, I'm going to say this is the first of the trilogy that winds up with All I Can Do Is Write About It.
Oh, that's true.
Because this is Ronnie. Really, he wasn't a political kind of guy necessarily.
But it had a little politic in it. It had a little talk about the world was changing to start with. Just a little start.
And that's what he's saying. They better make some changes, right?
Yep.
What's the lyric? They better make some changes and do it soon. Right? They're going to ruin the air we breathe. Lord have mercy, they're going to ruin us all by and by. I mean, this is the prequel to All I Can Do Is Write About It, which is truly one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion. I'm saying about all of them. So we're 5 for 5, right? And then we come to Mississippi Kid. Mississippi Kid, written by Al Cooper, Ronnie Van Zant, and Bob Burns, where I read, the only reason Bob Burns got credit for it is that Ronnie couldn't come up with a title. And Bob Burns goes, you need to call it Mississippi Kid. So that's where the title came from, Bob Burns.
So much for a drummer.
He's a drummer, not even a musician, right? Not even a musician. I'm sure I'm going to piss off somebody eventually about that. But, this is, to me, kind of a real blues kind of song, because you have the verse where you say it, 3 times, right? Got my pistols in my pocket, got my pistol in my pocket. I'm not looking for no trouble. Nobody dogs me around, right? I mean, just something about the spirit of it, and the I don't know. Again,
he's not looking for trouble, but he's prepared if trouble finds him.
Nobody dogs me around, right? I mean, you have to listen to this song a couple times to really appreciate the brilliance of it. I mean, so it's not a knockoff song. It's a brilliant song. They couldn't come up with a title for it, but it's just absolutely brilliant in my mind. And a lot has to do with the vocal phrasing from Ronnie. I mean, the music doesn't really capture you because it's pretty simple, but Ronnie, buddy, just killed it. I mean, so we go through that, and then we come up on Poison Whiskey. Poison Whiskey, again, this is a Ronnie Van Zant. This is the first of a series of Ronnie Van Zant songs that give you warning, right? Don't drink poison whiskey, right? Needle in the Spoon, Saturday Night Special, That Smell. I mean, that's just a few of them, but this is the beginning of that whole quintessential catalog of songs. Warning.
Bad things are going to happen.
I might be drinking Johnny Walker Red, but it ain't the bad. I mean, I don't think you should think about it, right? I mean,
just because I'm doing it.
Right. And here, again, it's the brilliance of Ronnie Van Zant. He knows right from wrong. He's a moral guy. He's a tough guy. He's a bad son of a bitch. He's a moral guy. He's an ethical guy. He's trying to help out his friends. I mean, I often thought, Ronnie, figured he could handle his liquor, but it's very clear Alan and Gary can't. Billy can't. Right? Robert can't. They can't handle their liquor, but so I'm trying to help them out. Right? But I can do it. Right? We always said, I used to say I could drive better drunk. Never had an act. No, that's a lie. Never. Anyway, so I always thought that was him. I thought that was him being a father figure to the band. I really did. Every song that we just talked about, I thought was him being a father figure.
And it's hard to think about it that way, but it's true. He saw things around him, not necessarily thinking about himself, but he saw everybody else abusing the whiskey and paying the price.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is from a very early age, most likely, has been going on. I don't know, I'm not sure when this song was written or exactly. I'm sure there was an event. I'm sure somewhere where somebody did something stupid drinking Johnny Walker Red. Was you ever a Johnny Walker Red guy?
I don't know.
You don't know what you were drinking?
Dickel, things like that,
George Dickel? But that's not Johnny Walker Red. But I just think that shows us the goodness in Ronnie. Below that tough exterior and everything else. I think that's the beauty of Ronnie Van Zant. So we've been through all this stuff and gone, man, it's been a really nice record. Gee whiz, there's a 14-minute song here at the end. Do I want to listen to a 14-minute song? Because at that time, I never heard a 14-minute song.
I'm not sure it was 14 minutes.
I don't know what it was.
I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes on here.
Well, you know what? I can tell you for sure.
It was not. It was too long for radio.
I'm going to tell you. 9 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah, that was long enough.
Alan Collins and a Ron Van Zant, not Ronnie Van Zant. Ron. Does your record say Ron?
Yeah, it sure does.
No, on the record. Does yours say Ron? Because you don't.
A lot. It says Ron in the liner notes.
Did anybody ever call him Ron? What's that saying? Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron.
They had a person came on into the band later on named Ron Eckerman, and he said, my name's Ronnie, and I think Gary and them said, no, there's only one Ronnie. You're Ron.
Yeah. Is that right?
They call him Ronnie. It was Ronnie was his name. Ron Eckerman became Ron Eckerman.
That is interesting. But in the credits it says Ronnie Van Zant, all lead vocals.
It's interesting how it differs from it. A lot of notes it says Ron a lot.
Yeah, all these songs were co-written by Ron. Well, I love Ron.
Interesting.
So anyway, you go back, there's a 9 minute and 8 second song. And I'll tell you, the first time I heard it, it warped my mind. It was like a life-changing moment.
It was like I said on I Ain't the One, really hard, nice guitar riffs. But Freebird starts, it's the perfect melody and sound for a song.
It's Billy Powell setting it up.
Perfect, so perfect.
Billy Powell setting up for that bluesy, sad, searching vocal by Ronnie Van Zant. And really, it's all contained, all that energy and all that power. That emotion, it kind of builds to the song, but musically, it really doesn't. Musically, it stays sort of at that tempo, right? And at the end, you're so full. Now we're at the end of the vocal. You're so full of emotion, and it's filled with sadness and the hope of a free bird. Everything is all in one. The power of this song is unimaginable. It's no wonder Duane Allman loved it, But to be quite honest with you, it doesn't actually click until Alan Collins takes over. And you can call it the coda of the song or whatever, but all that fire and energy and everything just explodes just into a spectacular explosion of I don't know, beauty and guitar work, and it's just, there's nothing like it in rock and roll, I think.
Alan was the innovator of that.
Yeah,
he brought it to life.
People compare it to Stairway to Heaven, and there's no comparison. Stairway to Heaven does not touch Freebird, in my mind. Not in the least bit. It's not even in the ballpark. Everybody started trying to write, 7, 8, 9 minute songs. There was only one. you know, in my mind, Stairway to Heaven wasn't even near the best that Led Zeppelin did. It was not even near the best. But Freebird was the best. And, you know, we talk about the greatest songs ever. We all have our favorites and different stuff. And Freebird, we have it really listed as our favorite song, but it's very clear. If you love Lynyrd Skynyrd, Freebird's your favorite song. I mean, it's where it all starts at. And then FM radio picked that up. Again, I was a WKR 104 Jackson
Did
FM
they play
radio.
it much? Did they play it a lot?
Shit. I mean, yeah, I mean, Freebird was the song. And even though everybody listened to pop radio in the late 70s or mid 70s, everybody knew Freebird. Every band played Freebird or tried to play it. I mean, I went to all kind of dances and stuff, and at the end of the night, they always played Freebird, and you're out there with your girl, and I could only dance to Freebird because that's all I could do, which is stand there, right? I'm not a dancer, but I could dance to Freebird. Yeah, that's right. Just hold her really tight. Oh yeah, I started to remember something. It doesn't matter. And then the night ends with the jam. The night ends with us going wild and crazy. So that's when we left because everything closed at midnight. We hit the car. We got a 6-pack. We're boozing and cruising, right? We got that energy. We got the 8-track in the car, and we're out and doing it, right? I mean, that's how it all happened. And it all came from Lynyrd Skynyrd Smokes, which is what I called the record for a long time. I thought that was the name of the record. I didn't realize it was actually pronounced. But, yeah, I mean, Lynyrd Skynyrd pronounced. Clearly the greatest record of all time until we review the next Lynyrd Skynyrd record. Anyway.
Hard to beat this one. Lightning strikes once right here. It struck. And
True.
forever it struck.
True.
Our hearts.
True, that's a good point. Even the cover
It's got lightning bolt.
and that was just out of the blue. That was not photoshopped in. It's real lightning that just happened. Kind of cool. Anything else on Pronounced? We could talk about it forever. We should play it, but they banned me off of YouTube. They won't let us play real music. Great record. Al Cooper, thank you for bringing these guys to light. Thank you for leaving when they recorded Simple Man and letting it be on the record. That was a good decision, Ron.
Thanks for buying this album for me.
That's right.
I'll forever remember it.
That's probably your copy.
Could have been
Yeah.
my first copy, my first album.
Is it right? What a great first record. So, okay. Episode 37 was fun.
That is fun.
Pretty much fun.
I enjoy it.
All right. So, share it with your friends. Please subscribe if you haven't. Let's hear your comments about these songs. Are they the greatest, first record by a band ever? Certainly side one is the best ever. Tell us what you think. Joe, anything else?
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Lynyrd Skynyrd Smokes. We will see you next time here on our favorite YouTube channel, Lynyrd Skynyrd Shorts. Until then,
Thank you very much.
see you next time.